All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the ASAP Network episode of Between the Ropes Breakdown. Of course, I am Ace from the West Coast. I am joined tonight by none other than Mess Around Dave. How's it going tonight, buddy?
Oh, it's great. Good day when the Bears win, man.
All right. The Dragon Viper, how you doing tonight?
Doing good.
And then tonight we actually have a new face on the show. He goes by the Sarge, and we call him Mr. Tim Fielder. How's it going tonight?
Doing great. Ready to rock and roll.
All right, man. So as everybody knows how this works, we come in, we break down Monday Night Raw, we talk about SmackDown, and then if we have any time left, we throw in a few more topics, which be surprised for those few topics that are coming. But before we do that, I'll tell you one thing. We have a few advertisements that we need to get through. So our first ad is actually being brought to you in part by Suzanne's Paparazzi Bling. It's a paparazzi accessory. It's $5 jewelry for all ASAP Sports viewers. It's 24-hour, 7 days a week available shopping. So the code on that, if you are actually ASAP Sports viewers, 160920, and she has some fantastic jewelry for you to check out. Now, besides our jewelry, we actually have this cool thing going on the network right now, is that if you want to win a free t-shirt, Mess Around Dave, tell me, how do you win one of those?
Well, you can go on to any of our shows on the network and like, comment, and share, and get yourself entered to win the t-shirt.
All right, so the more comments you put out there, the better chance you have at winning. And I'll tell you what, so far we've had 2 Viewer of the Months, and they love our t-shirts. And now people are actually coming out and they're buying them now, which brings me to my next point. If you cannot come on and comment, all you have to do is reach out to one of us on the ASAP network and be like, hey, you know what? I want one of those awesome shirts. You can get a hold of us, either Messenger, through Facebook, Twitter, anything. Let us know. Now, it says $25 plus shipping and handling, but that is actually not accurate. We have actually cut the prices in half. So now, instead of $25 for all shirts, we're actually selling shirts now for $14.99 plus shipping and handling. What kind of deal is that? What kind of deal is that?
That's a steal, man. That's a steal.
That is a steal. You are not going to get a shirt off of another network for $14.99. That is a steal of a shirt. All right. So now we're going to jump into our first topic of the night. But this question, we actually have a comment, and this is for the Sarge here. We actually have Will Polson who's saying, is that Sergeant Slaughter?
You all wish.
No, it's not Sergeant Slaughter, but it's Sergeant Slaughter Jr. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the Monday Night Raw side of things. So, Dragon Viper, why don't you let us know, what was the first match on Monday Night Raw?
The first match on Monday Night Raw was Asuka versus Shayna Baszler, winner being Asuka.
Winner being Asuka, and honestly, the way that the match ended, it did not surprise me because it happens virtually the same way that it's happened every other week. Either if Lana's in the ring, then Asuka's getting involved. If Asuka's in the ring, then Lana is getting involved. It's the same thing every week. It's just been the same continuous thing every week. So to me, I was actually not surprised at all with the way this match ended. Asuka didn't really need this win because she is the champion, but I think personally they're really trying to build up Lana. I really think that that's what they're trying to do. But I will go ahead and I'll give this to Messeround. So Messeround, what was your opinion on this match?
The match was really good, but like you said, it was the ending was predictable. I think what they're doing is they're going to try and build up to a triple threat match with Asuka, or maybe even a four-person championship match with Lana and Asuka and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I think they're trying to drive a wedge between Baszler and Jax. Maybe split them up and have them both go for the title.
You know, I could see that. I really could see that because you know that when Shayna Baszler first got here, everybody thought that what she was going to do instantly was come in and win the title, but she hasn't done that yet. And so I think that it's getting there because Nia and Shayna are not going to be on the same page this whole time. As we can see, I can honestly see them dropping the titles at the pay-per-view because with the way it's going between Asuka and Lana, I really think that that's the way it's going. So, Sarge, why don't you go ahead and give me your breakdown of this?
Well, first of all, I want to say that if there was a live crowd there, they would probably chant Lana can't wrestle, which is true. She needs Rusev. Rusev needs to come back. That's my opinion. I think Nia and Baszler is a weird pairing for champions. But the highlight of the match that I thought it was actually with Lana and Jax. It was towards the end when Lana did the head scissors takedown with Nia, taking her into the announce table to allow the distraction for the Empress of Tomorrow to do the roll-up win. That's the highlight I have on that match.
All right. Dragon Viper, go ahead and give me your breakdown.
You know, I don't really have much of a breakdown on this. I mean, you're right. It's constant every week. I think what they're trying to do is do the build up because they do have a tag team title match at the next pay-per-view TLC next Sunday. And I think they're trying to do a build up on that. I kind of fear that Asuka and Lana are going to win the titles somehow. But I don't know. It was boring. I mean, not much excitement in it.
So I do agree with Brandon Herrera when he says that the storyline is boring. It is. I completely agree with that. But now here's why I believe, honestly, that Asuka and Lana will win the titles. It's because, just like Messeround said, at some point, Nia and Shayna are going to split up because they both want that title. They both want the championship. So what's a better way than them at TLC ending up somebody's turning on somebody at TLC? That's how I truly believe that they're going to lose those titles. And then that's going to end up in a feud between Nia and Shayna. And then they're going to be like, who deserves the belt more between them? Or it could end up being a triple threat match. We don't know. All right. Dragon Viper, go ahead and give us the next match of the night.
Next match was Ricochet and Dana Brooke versus Slapjack and Reckoning from Retribution.
All right. So do you want to start out?
Yeah. I thought it was an okay match. I think the only real reason why they put up that match was for no pun intended, but for Retribution and Payback because Dana Brooke and Ricochet have been, getting attacked by, Retribution for so long that they just wanted their payback, and they actually got it when Ricochet and Dana Brooke won. So it wasn't, I mean, I don't know. They're starting to really make Retribution's faction just start to go stale, start going downhill with, what they're doing. So.
All right, Messeround.
Ricochet is very underrated for what he
Thank you.
does. He's a very, very good wrestler.
Yes.
He
Thank
needs
you.
to be put in a singles, get his own singles run instead of being put in these matches with like these crap matches. I mean, the guy's phenomenal in the ring. He does everything. The match was good, I thought. For me, just like Dragon Viper said, it was more of a revenge thing for Dana and Ricochet. It was
It was just
yeah.
All right. So Sarge, Mr. Tim Fielder, what was your takeaway?
I agree with messing around with the match. It was meh. That's all. I can the ending of it though is like when Ali was berating Retribution, especially Reckoning. I think that is going to open a potential story of breaking away from Retribution with that. Other than that, I hope we see more Dan Brooke get more chances, and also Ricochet. I hope he gets a great single run.
You know, I will tell you, I'm completely with you guys on that. At some point, Ricochet does need to get his single run, man. He hasn't gotten a true single run basically since he's been here. Ever since, because if you remember when he first came, he was paired with Aleister Black, which I'll tell you, that was a phenomenal tag team. If they could have done anything with Ricochet, Aleister Black would have been that guy because they were a great tag team. So, and the Hurt Business wants Ricochet. Well, they technically do. I mean, the Hurt Business just wants anybody. That's technically what they do. But this match, obviously, we saw this match coming. This is a match or this whole feud thing, I'm kind of trying to figure out where it's going. I think that's the whole confusing part right now is we don't know where any of this is going. Is this going to change at some point? I think it is because Ricochet, I truly think that the guy's completely talented. He's got so much talent in the world. This is not what he belongs in right here in a tag team. All right, Dragon Viper, give me the next match of the night.
All right, the next match of the night was Kofi Kingston and Shelton Benjamin, or versus Shelton Benjamin, and then Kofi Kingston versus Cedric Alexander. So 2 matches, both of them being against Kofi.
And go ahead.
And the winners were the first one was Kofi, the second one was Alexander.
Yes, and here we go again with the Alexander thing. You know, he steps back in after Kofi wins the first time and says, hey, you can't get off that easy without going against me. And then what happens after that? Well, Cedric Alexander pulls off a victory again, but this time it was over Kofi instead of Woods. So obviously, to me, they're trying to build a little bit. They're trying to build up Alexander. I kind of see that that's the way it's going, and I believe that the Hurt Business actually ends up winning the titles. I thought that overall, the way they did this match was actually kind of cool because they kind of seem to be doing it. They do it every week, but at least it's kind of getting everybody involved. And that's kind of why I like it so much. It's not just one-sided. So mess around. You go ahead and give me what you think.
Anytime you put Kofi in the ring with anybody, I mean, it's going to be a good match. The guy's a good worker, good wrestler. He knows how to sell a story, and just an overall great wrestler. I know he's had a few singles runs. He had the title for a little bit, but I think this is the guy that needs to get back into the title picture. And like you said, they're building up for the Hurt Business to take the title sooner rather than later.
All right. Let's go with Sarge. Sarge, what do you think?
I have to agree with mess around with Kofi. Like anybody who is in the ring with them, he elevates them up to his level. He has great chemistry pretty much with anybody who he's in the ring with. But I do like Shelton Benjamin's athleticism. Same with Alexander. I thought both were great matches, or pretty good matches. If I have to give a rating, I would have to give it like at least a B.
You know what? The one thing that I do agree with you guys on is that Kofi Kingston, I'm glad that he finally got a championship run because of what he's done in this business. That dude deserved a championship run, and I was finally glad he got it. And then what happened once he got his championship run? Well, it was a lengthy one, but after the championship run was over, it kind of went bam. It kind of went down. So to me, I was a little I'm a little disappointed that Kofi's still with the New Day. At some point, I want to see the New Day kind of break up, because we did see Big E get drafted to SmackDown to kind of go do his own thing. But now it's time for Kofi again to go do his own thing. All right, and then Dragon Viper.
Honestly, I would like to see the New Day break up. And Kofi go his own way. I agree with you guys. I'm not a big Kofi fan, but he has worked 11 years now in this company, 11, 12, something like that.
You got to remember, when he won his title, it was 11 years. So and it's been about 2 years that he's won it, so it'd be about 13 years.
So about 13 years, he's been working hard. So, again, I'm not a big Kofi fan, but he has worked hard for where he is. And you end up seeing the New Day drop the titles at TLC at their next pay-per-view. Yeah. That's all I got.
All right, Dragon Viper, what was the next show of the night?
The next one was Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus The Miz, Morrison, and AJ Styles. And the winners were Styles, Miz, and Morrison.
All right. So, Mess Around, you go ahead and take this one first, buddy.
Gosh, I hate any match that has Drew McIntyre in it. I can't stand the guy. Sheamus, another one of those guys that I think deserves to have a push and to get the title back. And I think they're working towards that. At some point, he's going to turn on McIntyre. Everybody knows it's coming. Hopefully, it's coming sooner rather than later. But it was a decent match, though.
Now, that last comment that came up, it was about the New Day, to where she was saying that if the New Day splits up, she wants it to be a good breakup, not a bad one. Not to where, somebody comes out and takes out the other one with a chair or something like that. She wants to see a good mutual split up of the New Day. All right. So, Mess Around, going off of what you were saying on that, I don't know, I liked it. You said you didn't really care for it all that much, but right? Is that
I don't care for any match that has Drew McIntyre. I just don't like that. He can't wrestle. He's one of those 5 moves of dooms guy. Yeah, I just never liked his gimmick.
No, I feel you. I completely get with you on that, because forever, I've not been a fan of big men at all.
Right.
Because I've never been a fan of Reigns. I've never been a fan of McIntyre. Those are just guys that I've never cared for. But as you're saying, at some point, absolutely that. At some point, Sheamus is going to turn on McIntyre. And at some point, Sheamus, I think, deserves a title shot. He does. He's been a main eventer for a long time, but he hasn't been up there for a long time. So it's kind of interesting how they have McIntyre and Sheamus as a tag team. But I think that's because they're going to split up, as do I believe that The Miz and Morrison are going to split up at the same time. So we have 2 things here to where I see 2 different splits. But this match was actually a good match. I was just kind of hoping, bear with me on this, I was hoping that this was the match that The Miz was going to cash in and win it. All right.
I'd like to see that happen. The Miz is another one of those guys that hasn't had a title in a while, and he deserves one.
He does.
For everything he's done, he's good on the mic. The guy can wrestle, flat out wrestle. His in-ring talent is bar none, and it's up there.
And he's fantastic on the mic. So,
yeah.
So, all right. So, Sarge, go ahead and take it away.
I want to go a little bit back before this match happened, like when they had that conference, when they had Miz TV up on there. I loved when they were trying to mimic their accents. The Miz and John Morrison. I actually had a kick out of that, and I seriously think Drew McIntyre could probably be on the 2024 Scottish Olympics with that throw with that briefcase, breaking that LED lights over on the stage with that. I got to admit, with Drew McIntyre, he's been through a lot with this company. I remember when he first came in, he was skinny, if you guys can recall. He is like toothpick and everything. Then all of a sudden, he comes back and muscles and everything else. This match was already predicted what was going to happen when Keith Lee came to Sheamus and says, "You better watch your back," or along those lines. And that's what happened with that bro kick right there. That kind of set up everything that's going to happen, I think, at TLC. So at TLC, I do believe that Drew McIntyre is going to win the match, but I'm going to say that The Miz is going to come in and try and cash in on the use a briefcase, and to cash in, he'll get bro kicked by Sheamus, and why McIntyre pins The Miz, and Sheamus is going to turn on McIntyre right there. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't see the title being held on all through next year when WrestleMania comes around. And The Miz, I think he's a great mid-card level, great mid-card. He is awesome on the mic. I just don't think he is built for the for the main title. He went through it once. He didn't win it cleanly. The Rock hit the rock bottom on Cena to allow him to get the win, and I didn't care for his title run on there. And I wish like someone would please bring up his what do they call him, the A-lister? He's actually the B-lister. How many A-list movies has he made?
Really?
Really?
Why? Okay, but why? That perplexes me. Like, why would you even bring up the movies he made? What does that have to do with his in-ring talent?
I want someone to like actually interact with all his movies, because he calls them the A-listers, and all his movies is straight to TV, or all the Hallmark movies, or the Marines.
Oh my goodness! A-lister in the ring. It has nothing to do with his A-list movies. He's talking about the A-lister in the ring. He's saying he's an A-lister in the ring, bro. It's got nothing to do with his movies.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think so.
He's an A-lister in the ring. He's talented in the ring.
Yeah, I'll give him talented, but I do believe he's going off of his acting career with the A-lister, because that's how he first got that monarchy, or from all his acting.
All right, Dragon Viper, you go ahead and take this away.
All right, so I agree with him about what's going to happen at TLC. The Miz will not beat Sheamus for the title with that briefcase. And I do see a feud starting up between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for the title. And about this match was okay. It sucked the way it ended, because I actually would have loved to see McIntyre and Sheamus, be a tag team for a little while, but it was okay. It was.
Why would you want to see them for a tag team for a while?
Because, here they are. They're talking about being best friends. You normally get best friends as tag teams. I think they're big guys. They have great talent. I like Sheamus, and I would love to see them as a tag team. Again, that's my opinion on that.
All right, so let's move on to the next match.
All right. I have here the next match is Lashley versus Jeff Hardy. And the winner, of course, was Lashley.
Well, I think when you really watch this match, I think everybody saw that coming, obviously. And if you remember, too, Lashley won by tap out, which to me doesn't even really surprise me at all. I was really hoping for a Jeff Hardy victory in this one, because me personally, I am a big fan of Jeff Hardy. I've never really been a fan of Bobby Lashley, but everybody knows I'm not a fan of big guys. I'm not. I've never been a fan of big guys. And so obviously if there's a more talented wrestler in the ring than a big guy, I'm going to go for that more talented wrestler. The only big guy that I would say I like was actually Braun Strowman. That's about it. Other than that, I've never really liked any of the other big guys. But that's either near here nor there. I'm going to go ahead and stay with this match. And I'm going to say that this match was actually a decent match. Jeff Hardy was actually able to stay in it for quite a while. Is this going to go anywhere? I don't think that this between Jeff Hardy and Bobby Lashley is going to really go anywhere. To me, this one was actually kind of surprising because did you guys really see this? Because it seems like it's going now from Jeff Hardy and Elias over to Jeff Hardy and Bobby Lashley, and it just kind of went from nowhere. So I don't know where they're going with this one. So the Sarge, so go ahead and tell me your feeling on this one.
I thought it was a good match. I think with like the two veterans with their like I was more surprised to see more submissions in this match from those two. I would probably see more high flying from Jeff Hardy and more brute strength from Bobby Lashley. But overall, I did like the I thought the match was well put together.
All right. Dragon Viper.
I thought also that was a great match. But I'm just trying to figure out what they were coming out of with this match. I mean, I could see them not wanting to have Bobby Lashley win, or they wanted him to win to keep him, pretty strong, pretty, put together and be a champion. But I also kind of wanted Jeff Hardy to win because, for one, he is one of my favorites. And for two, because I wanted him to, go for the title with Lashley. I think it'd be a, good feud between those two.
So I'm going to bring up a comment really, really quick that Brandon Herrera is saying, because I didn't even think about this until he mentioned it. But so it just says that WWE is going to leave us hanging on who hit Elias with the car. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of leaving us hanging. We don't even know at this point.
I think it kind of slowed down, though, in some point in time. It kind of they dropped it, but then they brought it back up. But it was kind of more.
But it's leaving us hanging. We don't know. And then Will Polston is now saying that Jeff Hardy is one of his favorites of all time. And hey, I'm right there with you. Jeff Hardy's been phenomenal. I think he would have had a better career had he been able to stay out of trouble with his outer ring stuff. I think that's what killed him, is when he was not actually wrestling and he was at home and he just couldn't stay out. He couldn't stay out of trouble and he couldn't stay off the drugs. That was his big problem. All right, so mess around. Go ahead and give me your thoughts.
This match was really good. You got the big guy versus the high flyer, the athletic guy. This match really didn't do anything in terms of as far as the win goes for Bobby Lashley. I don't think it did much for him. Either guy wouldn't have done much for them getting a win either way. I'm with you guys. I don't know where they're going with this match. And I do like Brandon's comment about how he misses Leo Rush's Lashley's hype man. I love Leo Rush's hype man. That was some good stuff.
Man, I could not stand Leo Rush, and I'll tell you which my wife, which has been commenting, so I'm going to say hello from work and thanks for watching our show. She was also saying that Leo Rush was annoying, and I will say, because when he came out and said Lashley,
I thought it was funny.
But it might have been funny, but it was always the most annoying thing. You just have to sit there and listen to it over and over and over again. It was so annoying. All right, Dragon Viper, go ahead and give us the next match of the night.
The last match was Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, and there was no winner. It was a no contest.
Yes, sir. This match, I've actually been looking forward to this. And if you remember what Randy Orton has said, he came out and told Alexa Bliss and said, look, I have met and wrestled Bray Wyatt. I have not come face-to-face with the Fiend. I don't know the Fiend, but he knows Bray Wyatt. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And I know that Mess Around is too, because Randy Orton is his guy. That's his favorite wrestler. And so we have always talked about forever the famous Randy Orton line, "Burn it to the ground," when he was having a feud with the Wyatts, and now we're away from "Burn it to the ground" and it's on "Let Me In." So that's always a big one. But going on to this feud now, I think this feud's going to be fantastic. I honestly do, because when it's kind of interesting. Who do you think is going to be the face and who's going to be the heel?
Orton being the face, in my opinion.
I don't know. That's right. What do you think?
No, it's Orton's definitely the heel in this one.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
go ahead.
I was going to say, hang with me on this one, because I'll tell you, Randy Orton makes a much better heel than he does a face.
For sure.
Orton's that heel that you always want out there. And I will tell you, Orton, I believe, is going to be the heel in this match because people like the Fiend.
Yep.
It's really growing on people. Let Me In. It's becoming a thing. His Firefly Funhouse at the beginning, when it first came out, we were actually messaging about this, and I was messaging Dave right off the bat, and we're like, "Oh my God, they killed Bray Wyatt!" Like that was our first thought. We're like, "What did they do to him?" We're like, "They killed him." and now it actually worked. Yeah, and now it's actually turned out to be, it actually worked. So it actually shocked me how well this has worked. So, Mess Around, go ahead and give me your breakdown in this match.
So, like Randy said, there's no, Dragon Viper said there's no clear-cut winner. And you knew there really wasn't going to be. You knew the Fiend was going to make his appearance at the end and get in Randy's face and, give him the business. So they're setting up for the TLC. And anytime these two guys work together, it's magic. Like when you were talking about when he burned his shed down or whatever it was, the Abigail thing, burn it to the ground. These guys just have great chemistry together. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good.
So Brandon Herrera left a comment up here, and it just caught my eye. And Mr. Dragon Viper is gonna love this one. Annoying, and he's talking about Leo Rush. And he's saying annoying, maybe, but still can't be annoying as Cowboy. So, all right. So there you go. All right. So Sarge, go ahead and give me your breakdown of this one.
Oh man, I like Bray Wyatt even ever since he came in. I love the fact that with his new character, like he has 3 different personalities. He has the let you go me guy at fire, then the serious, then the Fiend. My favorite part of the match was pretty much like they were outside of the ring, and it was Bray Wyatt who called the commercial. If you guys remember that, he took the headphones and said, "Hey, we'll be back after this commercial," and laughing and all that stuff. I thought that was great. I think those two have great chemistry, and I believe they're both still healed, but I believe that the Fiend is going to be like the dark hero type scenario right there. They have great chemistry, and I can't wait till the finish of the storyline.
So now going back for a second there, Sarge, when you said that you like Bray Wyatt from when he first came out, I'll be flat up honest with you and say only because of a biased angle, I did not like him at all. And that was because of the dude he came out and attacked. He's always been one of my all-time favorites. If you remember, when he first came out, he came out and attacked Kane. And Kane has always been one of my favorites of all time. So when they came out and attacked Kane, I was like, screw these guys. I don't like him at all. I don't even want him here. I was so angry. Because they went down that angle. And Mess Around knew it because I messaged him and I was like, I hate him. I don't want him here. I hate these guys.
I remember that. Because if you remember when they started out, everybody wanted to see the Wyatts versus
the Shield.
The Shield. Yeah, the Shield. That was a big thing, man.
All right. Dragon Viper?
I figured it was a great match. I mean, it was one of the best matches on Raw. Probably why they made it a main event. Good finish to it. I mean, there was no winner, but I mean, having the Fiend just, intervene with this. And I mean, Orton is in my top 5. I mean, he's awesome. But I also did like how it ended. So
if you remember last time that these two had a feud per se, Randy Orton ended up actually joining Bray Wyatt and becoming one of the family members. So as I'm saying, do you think that Randy Orton will end up joining Wyatt? I mean,
No.
I doubt it because I don't think that they're going to go down the same angle twice, but I guess you never really know. It could always be a possibility, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think it's overplayed. They've already done it once. They're not going to do it again.
They're
All
not.
right.
They're not going to do it again, and the reason why I think so is because it didn't work very well. Those two were not. He wasn't joined with Wyatt for very long because I don't think it worked very well. So I don't think it'll happen again.
All right. So now jumping off the Monday Night Raw side of things, now we're going to jump onto the SmackDown side. So mess around. Go ahead. Give me what happened first on SmackDown Live.
So the first match on SmackDown was Montez Ford versus Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph got the win.
So obviously we see where this is going. So to me, this was actually a really, really good match because we talk about it every week. We talk about how talented Ziggler is and Montez Ford actually has talent. We know where this is going. We know that Dolph is going to end up winning the tag team titles. I honestly think that that's where this is going. But is it going to happen at TLC? I don't know. That might be too soon, but that's where I truly believe it's going. So mess around. You go ahead and give me your take on that.
You got two guys that are really good in the ring together, and these guys put on a classic. It was a great match. You got Montez Ford who can jump out of the building. I mean, this guy's – I'd love to see this guy get a singles push. And I loved his comment about Dolph Ziggler. I think it was last week about being a poor man's Shawn Michaels. That was money.
Yeah.
That was money. Yeah, I agree with you. I think with Dolph and Bobby Roode both got wins over the Street Profits last week and this week. So I think they are going to take the titles eventually. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, I mean, do you kind of see where I'm coming from? That I don't think it's going to happen at TLC, but it's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think TLC might be a little bit too soon. So Sarge, tell me what your thoughts are.
Oh, I gotta admit, those two are very athletic, and it was a great match, I thought. And when you say about the poor man Shawn Michaels, it showed up at the end with what? The super kick, which is now just a normal routine move for any superstar anymore. I was kind of disappointed with that, but I'm starting to see. I did see a little bit of HBK in there, in Ziggler. I love my favorite part was when Ford actually did the drop kick. I thought that drop kick was smooth at the beginning of the match, and of course you're winning the solo cups also. That brought homage actually. For Ziggler, if you remember, he came from the Spirit Squad when they were DX, and DX did the same thing, but that stuff was a little bit more stinkier than Solo Cups, what they did. So,
Right.
So I hope Ziggler gets a huge push actually for a world title. I think he sells his matches, getting hit. He sells it to the on money. I think it was like one of my favorite matches of that night.
I don't even understand why this dude keeps signing a contract, honestly. I don't even know why he keeps staying there. And I'm not saying on the point that he's not talented. I'm saying because WWE is wasting his talent. So I don't know why the dude keeps going, yeah, I'll sign with you. Because if the dude is so talented, they're not using him. So at that point, I would have been like, you know what? If you're not going to use me and put me in the main event card like I should be because of my talent, then I will go sign elsewhere where they will put me in the main event card because that's where I truly believe. But the one thing that I do agree with the Sarge on that one is, yes, the super kick that Shawn Michaels used is way overplayed. It happens by everybody now. There's so many wrestlers who use it now. It's just one of the things. it's going to always be there, something you're going to always see. All right, so Dragon Viper, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, I totally agree. The super kick is well overplayed, just like you said. That match was good. Again, not a big fan of either one, but I do disagree with you on one thing, Ace, and that is I honestly think that Rude and Ziggler will actually win the tag titles at TLC. I think, within time they've proven how good they are as a team and how good Ziggler is. And, with Rude coming in from another company to WWE, I still think he's good. And I think they have chemistry as a tag team, and they will win the titles on that pay-per-view.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I'm just saying that I can see it lasting longer. That's why I don't see them dropping the titles yet, because I could see this feud really, really going and going and going because it's so good, because it's something that people want to see. However, that Solo Cup thing was kind of weird. I don't know if I was a big fan of the Solo Cup.
No.
All right, mess around. What was the next match of the night?
So before I get into the next match tonight, I want to go back to Brandon's comment here about how it just has to do with the Fiend. They could have had Finn versus Fiend and Demon Finn versus Wyatt, and then pair them up. That would have been awesome to see. I like that. That's good.
But we know it's not going to happen though, because we know that Finn's going to stay in NXT. He does not want to come back up to the main card because they have underutilized him, just like they do all the young talent.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what was the next match tonight?
The next match was Big E versus Sami Zayn, and Sami won by another count out.
Yep, and if you remember in this match, how he won by a count out was because he ran around the ring, got underneath the ring, and then Big E chased him underneath there, and Zayn was able to come out and then kicked him and then hopped in the ring, and then he got the 10 count. So it's kind of interesting how this is going. But I guess when we talked about Big E finally getting his singles push, well, guess what? I guess this is it, but it's definitely not for the title that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to actually be for the championship, but it's going to end up being for the Intercontinental Championship instead of the actual championship. But I guess if he's getting a push, I guess it's better than nothing. Was it a good match? Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. Somebody gave a mad face on there, and I'm trying to figure out why, but okay. Anyway, so if whoever put the mad face up there, if you want to leave a comment and tell me what the mad face was for, was it a comment I made? I'm really curious now. All right, so mess around. Go ahead and take this away.
It was a good match, but man, week after week of seeing Sami with these countouts, it's getting old. I mean, I get it. It's for comedic purposes. It's funny. It draws viewers in, I guess, in a way. But if you remember, most people before they get a title shot or the championship title, the big one, they always start out small. They start out with the Intercontinental or the U.S. So I can see why they're going that route first with Big E, and hopefully he gets it.
I think he will. He'll get Zayn at some point, but I just don't know when. All right, the Sarge.
The match was meh. I thought the match was long, and the way how it ended with the count out again was, I had to live through it again. It's like Groundhog Day all over again. But for some reason, I do not see Big E winning the Intercontinental Championship. I could see him actually winning the Money in the Bank and going that route with trying to win.
All right, Dragon Viper.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the match was kind of boring. I mean, we got to see Big E, do more within the ring. The count out again. I mean, they've got to think of something different. Last week I come on here and I say, Sami Zayn is a genius when it comes to winning, but then I sit here and I think he's just willing to win from count out, pretty much now. They need to put him in a no DQ, no count out match and see how he tries to win that way, because I don't think he'd win clean at all. And Biggie, Biggie's got talent. Biggie's good. And I do see him going for the Intercontinental title and winning it. And I agree that he would have to start somewhere, not for the main championship, but at least the Intercontinental title.
So I found our culprit for the mad face as I went up there and I clicked on it. It's Mr. Brandon Herrera. So obviously he didn't agree with something we said going on
He
here.
didn't like your fan comment.
I guess he didn't like that very much.
I'm guessing that's what it is. I just like to add one thing about Big E. When are they going to start? When are they going to let this guy loose and be an animal instead of doing these comedic routes with him? They need to let him be who he is, a strong, big guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I
I think
completely
they're
agree.
slowly getting rid of it.
All right, mess around. What was the next match of the night?
Probably the most boring match on the card. The Riot Squad versus Natalya and Billie Kay. And the Riot Squad won.
Yeah. So, Sarge, you go ahead and take this one away.
Are you happy on this one?
Yeah.
I thought this match was sloppy. Right? Billie Kay is a loss without Peyton. I don't think they should have ever been broken up. It pretty much they're lost without each other, and pairing her up with the Queen of Hearts, it was kind of interesting choice as well, because like I said, it was sloppy. Like I remember on the match that Royce accidentally hit Natalya, but they never connected, and it was awkward how Natalya acted like being hurt. It was a huge miss, but I love seeing the Riot Squad back, though.
So you're not really a fan of Peyton Royce?
Not right now. No, there could be
man.
growth. There could be growth.
I've actually been a fan of Peyton Royce, but I do agree with you that this match was actually sloppy. This was a very, very sloppy match. So I'm not going to disagree with that in any way. They do need to clean up the botches a little bit between them, but it'll get there. It'll get there. So mess around. You go ahead and give me your take in this match.
They made the right call when they split up. I mean, not the right call when they split up the Iconics, but the right call to give Peyton Royce the push. Like, she's way more talented than Billie Kay. Billie Kay is like Alana to me. She can't really wrestle. She doesn't bring much to the table. This match, I don't even know what to say about it. It was so bad. I'm just going to leave it at that, and it was horrible.
All right, Dragon Viper.
I feel that I agree. It was horrible. I mean, honestly, the match didn't make much sense. And I feel bad for Natalya. I mean, I understand she's training all these new female superstars and everything, but it's almost like they're bouncing her from match to match to match with different females, trying to work with them, and it seems like most of the time she's losing when she does it. So,
Oh yeah, so I will completely agree on that one. So mess around. Go ahead and give us the next match of the night.
We have Cesaro and Shinsuke versus Otis and Chad Gable, with Cesaro and Shinsuke taking the win.
Yeah, so this was kind of another one of those interesting matches of the night. And guess what? I'll even let Mr. Dragon Viper start with this one.
well, it was a good match. I thought it was, but it's interesting that in the back, here's Chad Gable talking about how, he can train Otis and help Otis out, and then at the end of the match they end up losing anyway. Not much of a trainer there, but I actually like Cesaro and Nakamura. Sorry, Nakamura. As a tag team, I'd like to see him as tag team champs again, but I, didn't really care much for this match either.
All right, the Sarge.
Since Otis lost the briefcase, he's lost. And also, there's actually news with the WWE is that all the big people like Keith Lee and Otis are actually going to the Performance Center to work on their craft, actually. So this could be because after the match, that Chad Gable was taking him back to his gym to be alpha. I think that's what he called it. But again, I don't think the match meshed well to anybody's with anybody. If they continue with this storyline, I can actually see Otis going heel against Gable here if they continue with the storyline. And also, don't you guys think that Otis reminds you of Tommy Boy, Chris Farley off of the movie?
Yeah, he does. And thing that I didn't understand is, if they weren't going to go anywhere with Otis's character to begin with, then why even have him win Money in the Bank? That to me did not even make any sense. That was kind of a waste. You're going to have a guy win Money in the Bank and then do nothing with it. So I don't know.
Why break every machinery? I mean, Tucker's nowhere.
Right? Nowhere to be found. Okay, so mess around. What was the next one of the night?
The Carmella versus Sasha Banks. Mella is money.
Mella is money. Mess around. You go ahead and take this one first, sir.
To one of my favorite female wrestlers, Mella is money. I love her. I think she's gonna get the title eventually. This match ended in Sasha Banks disqualification. She snapped at the end, and that was the right way to play it because we all know Sasha, when she gets a belt, she doesn't hold it for very long. For some reason or another, they don't keep it on her very long. So I can see Carmella taking it at TLC just because of that, which I'd be happy with because I like Carmella.
This is another one of those interesting things that if the crowd was there, you'd hear people again with Carmella going, "You can't wrestle. You can't wrestle," because Carmella cannot wrestle. And I understand you're saying Mella is money, but she can't do anything but yet again the super kick. That's what she has. She can't do nothing else but the super kick.
You're right. I agree. I just like her because she's hot. But hey.
Okay, so that's where you're going with that. But this to me is a waste because Sasha Banks actually at least has talent. Mella doesn't even have talent, so I don't even know why they're going down this route. But Carmella will probably end up winning the title again, probably having a lengthy run like she did last time, but I don't like it. And just one of those matches that I'm like, all right, jump away from that match because this isn't going anywhere. Okay, so Sarge, go ahead and take this away.
I agree. Carmella cannot wrestle, but she, after being gone for I believe 7 months, she did held pretty well with this match, even if Sasha had to carry her. Between these two shows, this was probably my favorite match just because of the ending on how Carmella snapped and everything else with that wine bottle. I kind of cringed when I saw that when that wine bottle went across her back. But I have a hard time seeing Sasha keeping this title for a long time. So I kind of wish they would continue with the Bayley storyline because I bet you they still can build up on that one. So that's my take.
All right, Dragon Viper.
That whole storyline is nonsense. I don't like it. It's boring. Makes no sense at all. And yeah, Mella is money. How about Monopoly money? But No, Sasha's a better wrestler. Sasha knows what she's doing. I don't think Carmella knows what she's doing. And I honestly think she will win the title from Sasha only because of Sasha's luck when it comes to defending the title and because of who her boyfriend is. So that's my opinion on it.
All right, so mess around. I saw your little look there when I pulled that up there, and it says Corey Graves is a lucky dude.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's the only reason she's getting the push right now is because of who she's dating, Corey Graves.
Yeah, it's
And
because of Corey Graves.
Yeah, and because everybody else is tied up in other storylines, they really don't have anybody else for Sasha right now. So you got Charlotte who's out, who's coming back soon.
Which that's probably where she's going.
Yeah. That's the only reason Carmella's in the storyline right now because they don't have anybody else for Sasha. So she's kind of like a throw-in because, like I said, everybody else is tied up with other storylines.
All right, mess around. What was the next one of the night?
That was it.
Oh, that was it. You're right. That was the main event. Yep, you're completely correct. Okay, so since we went down Raw, SmackDown, now we get to touch on just briefly a little topic here, just really quick since we have a few minutes left. And guess what? We are calling this Mr. Mess Around Dave's Da-na-na. Guess what? We have a warning, rant in progress. Okay, Mess Around, you go ahead and take your rant away.
Okay, here's my rant for the week. If you have not checked out NXT, you've got to do it. I went and I watched the War Games. It is the best pay-per-view of any pay-per-view this year. For NXT, Raw, SmackDown, any of the pay-per-views, it tops them all. The first match tonight with those girls, oh my God. That was a phenomenal match. If you haven't watched War Games, go watch it. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed.
And don't forget, you were going to do your little rant on the AEW.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And my other one was the AEW. Okay, I get it. You're trying to compete with the WWE. It's not going to happen. You guys are like a poor man's WCW. That's what it reminds me of. The production is terrible. You got a bunch of rejects from the WWE. They got kicked out from there, so it's not any good. They had to bring in Sting to get their ratings up because they can't even compete with NXT at this point. That's how bad AEW is. I watched it this week and I was not impressed at all. Super kicks flying everywhere. That move just doesn't. Everybody uses it now. AEW is trash, and that's why they had to bring in Sting to raise their ratings. I'm done. That's the end of my rant. I'm done.
All right. So Mess Around Dave is done with his rant. So before we call it a night and end the show, I'm going to ask everybody just really briefly, ask you give me a few predictions for TLC. And I'll go ahead and I'll start with Mess Around Dave because next week we'll be covering TLC. So now we'll be doing Raw, SmackDown, and TLC next Sunday. So Mess Around, go ahead. Give me, what is your prediction for TLC? Something.
My biggest prediction is The Miz tries to cash in the Money in the Bank and John Morrison costs him the opportunity to win. And that's how they split up Miz and Morrison.
All right. So you actually think that the cash-in is going to happen at TLC?
I think it's going to happen, and I think Morrison's going to screw it up for him and cost him the title. And I'm they're going to have a match at Mania.
All right, Sarge, what is your prediction?
I disagree with that, as I said earlier in the show, but I think Sheamus is going to cost the Miz the title when he cashes in and also attacks McIntyre. Also, I do think Jay Uso is also going to get involved with Reigns, and not in a good way for Reigns.
Thank you. Okay, Dragon Viper?
I see Reigns will actually lose his title. I see Uso's going to get involved and possibly turn his back on Reigns. And, Kevin Owens is going to win it.
Oh, man. You're making it tough on me because you guys just went ahead and took freaking my prediction. My prediction already was going to be that Jey Uso was going to come in and he was going to cost Roman Reigns the championship and that Kevin Owens was going to win it. And now I'm like, dang it. All right. But I'm still going to stick with my prediction on that. And I completely agree with you guys. I think Jey Uso is going to finally cost Roman Reigns his championship. Kevin Owens is going to win it because Kevin Owens has been one of my favorites for a very long time too. So thank you very much. But last thing on my prediction is that Sasha Banks will not drop the title. She will not. Even though she does not normally have long title reigns, this one's, I think, is going to be a little bit longer.
I got another one for you.
Yeah.
The match tonight, everybody's going to be talking about after this pay-per-view, is going to be Orton versus The Fiend. I think that's going to still.
I can see that. I could see that. I could definitely see that. All right. So our last bit of housekeeping that we got to take care of. We have a few more sponsors that we need to touch on really, really quick. So our other sponsor that we need to touch on is actually Misty Meadows. So Misty Meadows is actually located here in Bandon, Oregon. Now, the thing about Misty Meadows is that Misty Meadows actually makes their own jam. They have homemade jam, spices, and if you're a barbecue sauce fan, they actually make their own barbecue sauce. And you can actually find them at mistymeadows.com. So think about that. If you like barbecue sauce, oh man, that sounds yummy right now. I think I might get some chicken, grab some barbecue sauce, and especially that barbecue sauce from Misty Meadows because it's tasty. And for those of you who like to eat toast in the morning and put jam on it, these guys have homemade jam. So what's better? What kind of jam is better than homemade jam? I would rather eat homemade jam than go to a store and buy jam. I'll honestly tell you that. If I can get homemade jam, that's my thing. I'm going for it. And then last but not least, I want to let you know right now that if anybody who missed our show tonight and you're like, you know what? I missed the action on Between the Ropes and I wanted to listen to the breakdown on Raw and SmackDown and then mess around Dave's little rant. Well, guess what? You can listen to the audio version. You won't get to see us, but you can listen to it on Anchor. All you have to do is find ASAP Sports Network on Anchor, download it and listen to the audio version. And even Anchor is actually a great way too, to where you're like, you know what? I kind of want to get started on this too. Can I make my own podcast? Absolutely you can. And the easiest way to do it is go on Anchor and it'll help you. It'll give you step-by-step on the easiest way to help you build your most successful podcast. All right. So with that being said, I really hope that everybody had a great night. I want to thank Mess Around Dave, obviously, for being on the show. Thank you very much. It was great. The Sarge, thank you for making your first appearance on Between the Ropes. It'll be your first of many, sir, and I hope you had a lovely time. And I guess, what can I say? All right, Dragon Viper again. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. And you know what's interesting? I don't think he's ever told us who his favorite wrestler was. I don't think he's ever said that. Current. I don't think he's ever said his current one.
I said Orton was in my top 5. I haven't said exactly who my absolute favorite is. So
all right, well, that's going to be suspense. We're going to keep that for next week. So, Mess Around, do you have anything left to say? You got 30 seconds starting now.
Thanks for tuning in and watching us. We appreciate it. I actually hosted a draft or a watch party, and I had a few friends that watched. I'd like to thank them. Will Grissom, John Dixon, Ayla Thomas, Jody Clausen, Sean Manning. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Did any of them leave comments?
No comments.
Oh, man. See, if you guys would have left a comment, you could have had a chance at winning a free t-shirt, but you didn't comment. I'm sorry, guys. All right, Sarge, do you have anything left to say?
I just want to say thank you for having me on here, and I look forward to being on here a lot more. It was a lot of fun.
All right, Dragon Viper, what do you got?
I want to say thank you all for watching. Just share, continue to share, have people view this, and we'll see you all next Sunday.
All right, and I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, and I hope you all watched and enjoyed Between the Ropes, and please download the audio version on Anchor. Everybody have a great night. And peace out. If you smell what ASAP is cooking.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so time for laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.